Welcome back to another daily devotional. I'm coming at you post-workout, like immediately post-workout. I don't think my heart rate has settled down yet, but that's what we love. Okay, so we are doing a Proverbs 31 Warrior's Creed. And I know we had learned yesterday that this is more of a dedicated to a female audience, but that doesn't mean we can't learn from it. So the verses for us today are Proverbs 31, verse 23, Ruth 4, verses 1 through 12, and 1 Corinthians 7, verse 5. So let's get started on the readings. So Proverbs 31, 23, her husband is respected at the city gate, where he takes his seat among the elders of the land. All right, so in Proverbs 31, the husband of the Proverbs person is important. Okay, so Ruth 4. Meanwhile, Boaz went up to the town gate and sat down there just as the guardian redeemer. He had mentioned, hold on. Meanwhile, Boaz went up to the town gate and sat down there just as the guardian redeemer he had mentioned came along. Boaz said, "Come over here, my friend, and sit down." So he sat down. Boaz took 10 of the elders of the town and said, "Sit here." And they did so. Then he said to the guardian redeemer, "Naomi, who has come back from Moab, is selling the piece of land that belonged to our relative Emlich. I thought I should bring the matter to your attention and suggest that you buy it in the presence of these seated here and in the presence of the elders of my people. If you will redeem it, so do so. But if you will not, tell me, so I will know. For no one has the right to do it except you, and I am next in line." "I will redeem it," he said. Then Boaz said, "On the day you buy the land from Naomi, you also acquire Ruth, the Moabite, the dead man's widow, in order to maintain the name of the dead with his property." At this, the guardian redeemer said, "Then I cannot redeem it because I might endanger my own estate. You redeem it yourself. I cannot do it." Now, in earlier times in Israel, the redemption and transfer of property to become final, one party took off his sandal and gave it to the other. This was the method of legalizing transactions in Israel. So the guardian redeemer said to Boaz, "Buy it yourself," and removed his sandal. Then Boaz announced to the elders and all the people, "Today you are a witness that I have bought from Naomi all the property of Emlich, Kilion, and Mahlon. I have also acquired Ruth the Moabite, Mahlon's widow, as my wife, in order to maintain the name of the dead with his property, so that his name will not disappear from among his family or from his hometown. Today you are a witness." Then the elders and all the people at the gate said, "We are witness. May the Lord make the woman who is coming into your home like Rachel and Leah, who together built up the family of Israel. May you have standing in Ephrath and be famous in Bethlehem. Through the offspring the Lord gives you by this young woman, may your family be like that of Perez, whom Tamar bore to Judah." All right. I will admit, I don't know if I've read Ruth before, and so I'm pretty lost as to what was transpiring before this and what was going on. But I mean, kind of get the gist of what's happening. So sorry that was so hard for me to read. I just didn't know what was going to happen. Anyways, 1 Corinthians 7. Do not deprive each other except perhaps by mutual consent and for a time, so that you may devote yourselves to prayer. Then come together again so that Satan will not tempt you because of your lack of self-control. Well, that kind of sounds like he's speaking to married people. Don't divorce, but you can separate for a short time. I mean, we'll find out in the devotional section here. So the devotional for today from the author. Gates represent places of influence, decision-making, and access to vital intelligence. The word elders is synonymous with decision-makers, authority figures or influencers. A Proverbs 31 warrior's husband is known in the gates because her spiritual adventures positively impact her spouse. We can make our spouse become known in the gates by guiding them to prioritize their spiritual growth. Have a marriage altar sustained by spiritual and sexual intimacy with your spouse. Sexual intimacy promotes sexual purity in marriage and prevents spiritual defilement, thereby keeping the fire of the personal marriage, the marriage, and the household altar burning. Spiritual disciplines such as fasting, praying, vigils, meditation, word study, and so on should be engaged jointly as much as possible. This is an important way for husbands and wives to become forces to be reckoned with in the gates. I like that they bring this up, that you got to, sustain your marriage spiritually and sexually, right? Because there's just times where it's tough to spend time together, right? As you are having kids, working jobs, doing whatever. So making it important that you spend time together. And, not just time sexually, but time together where you're praying together, or you're going to worship, or you're going to a Bible study, or you're doing something together, right? That is my 2 cents on that. Our spouses cannot become victims of decisions made by earthly decision makers on their jobs or in the government if they are among the elders spiritually, socially, and economically. Encourage your spouse to serve God instead of competing with Him, and doing so will make him a role model to your children and society. It kind of sounds like this author saying that um, wives shouldn't compete to do more than their husband. So, and in this specific sense, our spouses cannot become victims of decisions made by earthly decision makers on their jobs or in the government if they are among the elders, spiritually, socially, and economically. So, wives, it is your duty to help keep your man spiritually healthy. Okay, and at the end it says, imagine and declare this with all your heart. I'm going to skip over this. I'll just say it. But it's intended for a female. I am married to a man of spiritual intelligence and earthly influence. My husband is known in the gates. My husband makes wise decisions. So if I have any female followers, something for you to say. All right. I will see you on the next daily devotional. Have a good one, guys.